Hi there. In this video I want to show you the idea of making a perspective section with the effect of a receding cut line. Something like this, where you can see that the front boxes here, or the front objects, have thicker lines than the farthest away. There's two ways to do this, and I'll show you what I've learned. So this is a similar file to what was done with the other video. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to take a clipping plane, and I'm going to duplicate it by Alt-click, and then I'm going to type maybe 9,000 millimeters. I'm going to flip it around 180 degrees. And you can see here that these two clipping planes are affecting both this perspective section view and the arrangement view. And the perspective section view is the one that we're going to export to something like this. So the first thing to do is, we're ready to do the Make 2D actually, so type Make 2D and select Objects to Draw, right click, select Objects, press Enter, and in this instance I'm not going to do hidden lines, and I'm going to put the layer name as 1 because it's the closest to the camera. Press OK, and we have our Make 2D, which from the top view you can see is right there. You don't want to move the perspective section camera, so I've saved it as a named view, because for each next successive level you need the camera to be in the same position. So I'm going to now select the rearmost clipping plane, the one to the left or to the back, and again put it another 9,000, keeping the first clipping plane the same as where the camera intersection is. So those two are again in the same plane. So I'm going to select these objects again, go to the select the objects again from the with the perspective section viewport active, and then Make 2D. But this time I'm going to change its layer name to. And as you probably get the idea now, we'll do that once more. 9,000 again, select the objects from the perspective section viewport, press Make 2D or Command Make 2D, layer name 3. And you can see from the top view that they are successively building on top of each other. And then finally we have one more layer, 9,000 again, and note that each of these layers and sublayers, level 1 will be smaller, level 2 has more curves, and level 3 has more curves, and level 4 will have the most. So just be aware of that when you're doing your, if you have a big file, this method may not work. It may just be too much for your computer. So Make 2D, layer name 4, and press OK. And now you can see from the top view all of the Make 2Ds, 1, 2, 4, right click, select sublayer objects. I'm going to move them out of the way so they're isolated. And one thing that I need to do now is to turn off clipping plane intersections, because as you can see, these little black lines are where that clipping plane has cut for the different successive levels. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to delete those layers. And the final thing that we need is the section again. So the section will give us that pure cut. So I'm going to select these two, right click Objects, and I'm going to do the section commands. I start at this point. Oops. Select, 1, 2, right click, select Objects, and section again, right click Section, start at the start of the clipping plane, tab to constrain the plane all the way across and press enter. And now move that out and I'll rotate 90 degrees. Oops. Holding shift to constrain the angle. Move, go from this corner, bottom right corner. Oops. Move, which is right click. No, move. And then we go from this corner. Oh, let's do it from the top view, that's better. There. And that will give us those nice cuts. So from here, go to the top view, and we'll go export. And I'll make this number 4. Scale 1 to 100 sounds good. Go to this 1 to 100 Illustrator file. Zoom out. Bring this across. Change the artboard so it fits the objects. There's an option for that. Artboards fit to selected art, which I have as a shortcut. And then I'm going to resize the artboard so it fully fits the objects. Press V, then move back to this command area. Now I've got this nice little thing, so I'll bring level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Level 1 we want it to be the thickest lines, so I'm going to put that as, actually I'm going to leave that as, no, 0.25 millimeters. Level 2 is going to be 0.125 millimeters. Level 3 is going to be 0.08 millimeters. Whoop. 0.08 millimeters. Make sure I've got, yeah. And then level 4 can be 0.04 millimeters. And we're almost there. Select that and select that. They're the section cuts. Make it black and invert. Now you can see this effect where it sort of looks like it's fading off into the distance. I think that's pretty neat method to do it. I might just make this a little bit stronger, so 0.06 millimeters. Yeah, that's looking better. It's a bit of a smoother transition to that final row. Here's another neat little trick if you're not happy with the line weight, if you think they're all too thick. And actually I'm going to add a line to the section cuts, black as well. Make that, yeah, that's fine, 0.053. Alright, so I'm going to select the objects, do the scale, double click the scale tool. I'm going to scale it up without scale strokes and effects by, let's say, 200%. And then I'm going to double click again, scale it to 50%, but scale the strokes and effects. That means I'm scaling everything, including the strokes and effects, which is really useful because everything will be brought back to exact same position, but the stroke weight for all is the ratio between the 4 levels of the stroke weights is maintained, and it's just thinner now, and I think that's much nicer. That's much easier on the eye. So I hope you enjoyed this little workflow, but just be aware that the more complicated your file is, the longer it will take for the Make 2D process to work when you have more and more depth, because it has to essentially do the original stuff plus each successive level. Each level 4, yeah, so level 4, as you can see here, has all of the lines. Press Ctrl H so that they're out of the way, but they're still selected. Has all of the lines, but they're hidden by the thicker lines, so you can't see the thinner lines at the front. It's neat, but it's possibly heavy. All right, cheers.